Alright, here are some examples on when you're solving two-step inequalities. When you don't flip the sign and when you do flip the sign. Here are two examples of solving two-step inequalities when you do not flip the sign. So, as we look at part A here, look at what's being done to the variable x. It's being multiplied by 4 and 2 is being subtracted from us. So we need to undo those things. I'm going to first add by 2, which you do to one side, you got to do to the other. When we put these together, that gives you 0. So you're left with just 4x on the left. On the right, we've got 6 plus 2, which is 8. Going to bring down the inequality sign. Now we have 4x less than 8. Well, to get x by itself, we got to divide both sides by 4. So x is less than 2. If we graph this on a number line, going to put 2 in the middle, 3 to the right, 1 to the left. We're going to have an open dot at 2, and we're going to shade to the left. And we didn't flip the inequality sign because if you look at what we did to both sides, we divided both sides by a positive 4, so we don't have to change it. Sign stays the same. Now if you look at the example B here, we're going to add 4 first. So when we on the left we put those together, you get 0, so a over 3 remains on the left. On the right, negative 1, positive 4 is 3. We want to undo dividing by 3, so we're going to take this and multiply both sides by 3. In doing so, that becomes 1, so we're left with just a on the left. On the right, we've got 3 times 3, which is 9. Then on a number line, we got 9, 10, and 8. We're going to have a closed dot at 9 and shade to the right. Right, here are two examples when you do flip the inequality sign. So looking at part A here, I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides because when you put this together you get 0. So we have negative 3y greater than negative 12 minus 6 is negative 18. Now continuing on getting the variable by itself, y is currently being multiplied by negative 3. We have to undo that. So divide by negative 3 on one side and the other. That gets you 1's there. So we've got y now by itself, and a negative 18 divided by negative 3 is 6. But now we have to look at what we did on both sides. We divided by a negative 3 there and a negative 3 there. Since we divided both sides by a negative, that's when we change the direction of the inequality sign. So we have to flip it to this. So y is less than 6. Graphing this on a number line. Open dot at 6. Shade to the right. Alright, looking at part B example here, again we are going to work to get the variable by itself. In this case it's c, so I'm going to subtract 13 on both sides. So I got c over negative 9 less than or equal to 8, negative 8. Now since c is divided by negative 9, we got to undo that, so I'm going to multiply this side by 9 and multiply the other side by negative 9. So on the right we got 72. On the left we've got just c. And as I'm looking at what's done to each side, this side we multiply by negative 9 and the other side we multiply by negative 9. So if you ever have to multiply both sides of the inequality by a negative number, we change the direction of the inequality sign. And if we're graphing this on a number line, 72, 73, we have a closed dot at 72 and we are shading to the right.